What's going on, guys? This is me Ron and welcome to the new video. In this video I'm going to talk and discuss about Python and C#. That means I'm going to show you the similarity and the differences between these two languages. You can call this video as a comparison between these two languages. So without any delay, let's start it. I'm going to use IntelliJ IDE for Python and Visual Studio for C#. So open up Visual Studio, go to File, click on New, and then click on Project, and then select Visual C# Windows console application and provide the project name, and then click OK. Similarly, open IntelliJ IDE, go to File, click on Settings. You need to install Python plugins here, so search Python plugin and install, and then click OK. Again go to File, Project Structure, and then click on New, Python SDK, create on environment, and then click OK, and then click Apply. Now after doing this, click on File, New, Project, and then select Python, click Next, and then give the project name, and then click Finish. After doing this, first of all let's talk about C#. So go to Visual Studio. Forgot about all these things, we will talk later on that. So let's start this tutorials with the variable declaration. C# is statically typed language. That means you need to tell what type of variable it is before compiling your program. For example, if you want to declare a variable name, then you need to tell what type of variable it is, like integer or string. So string name, integer age, double area, and so on. In Python the things are little bit different. First of all, let me add one Python file here. New Python file. Python is dynamically typed language and also it is stringly typed language. What does that mean? That means you do not have to tell what type of variable it is at the declaration of your variable. And stringly type means you cannot add integer type variable and string type variable. So let's declare some variable in Python also. So if you want to declare the variable name, you have to provide a value like Ron and age 25 and area is equal to 25.0, like this. You declare variable in Python in this way. Let's go back to Visual Studio and let's talk about the input function. We use console.readLine to read the value from the user. So name is equal to console.readLine, and this function return string type. If you want to check what this function return, let me change this name to age, and you will see her error, and it says cannot implicitly convert type string to integer. That means age is integer and this function return string type, so implicitly conversion from string to integer cannot happen. So we need to use in that case integer dot parse console dot read line. We need to use console.parse in that case, and to read the input from user in Python we use int function. Like age is equal to input input function, we use input function, and this input function also return string type, so we need to convert explicitly into integer, so int input. Now go back to Visual Studio and let's talk about output function. We use console.writeLine to display the message to the user in C#. So console.writeLine and the value of age, and we also need to, oops, I forget semicolon here, console.readLine. Now we use in the case of Python we use print function to display the message to the user. So print age, Now go back to Visual Studio and run your program. It must ask age, so like 25, it must display 25. Now go back to IntelliJ IDE, right click, run, and here we need to provide value 25 and it's free 25. Now if you want to display the text in your output function, you can do that in two ways. First of all, I'm going to show you in C#.NET. So go to Visual Studio and here you can use two ways. First one is composite formatting and the second one is string interpolation. The first method is the age is and you use this way and comma age, and here console dot write line, please enter your age. This method of displaying output to the user is called composite formatting, and the second way to display output to the user is console dot write line $, the age is age. This method of displaying output to the user is called string interpolation. Now go back to IntelliJ IDE and here you can display the message to the user saying that please enter your age. And there are also two types of displaying message in Python 3. So here the age is dot format age. This way of displaying message is called string replacement field, and the another method is print f string. The age is, here goes age. Now let's run it. Please enter your age 25. The age is 25, the age is 25. Now go back to Visual Studio and run 25, the age is 25, the age is 25. Now let's talk about the representation of block of code. In C# we use curly braces, open and close curly braces to indicate the block of code. For example, like I'm going to use if-else statement. So if age is less than 18, we use open and close curly braces to indicate the block of code. And here console dot write line, you are not eligible to vote, and console dot read line. In Python we use indentation. So if age is less than 18 colon, and we use indentation, print you are not eligible to vote. Now let's run it. Like 16, if I enter 16, message should display you are not eligible to vote. Go back to Visual Studio, run. If I enter 16, same message should be displayed, you are not eligible to vote. Now let's talk about if else clause and then else if ladder. So here what I can do is else if age is greater than 60, what I can do is I can display the same message. This is not true, but I'm using it. And go back to IntelliJ IDE and here else if elif age is greater than 60, what we are going to do is we are going to print you are not eligible to vote. Right click, run. Like 65, message should display you are not eligible to vote. Go back to Visual Studio and first of all let me delete this line and run your program. 65, message should display you are not eligible to vote. Now again we can use else and we are going to display the another message but the different content. So you are eligible to vote. Similar here in Python, else print you are eligible to vote. So let's again run it. Like 25, message should display you are eligible to vote. Go back to Visual Studio again, run your program, and 25, message should display you are eligible to vote. Now let's talk about while loop. The while loop is pretty much same in both Python and C#. So while true means this loop will continue as long as the condition is true, and we need to use some false condition to exit this loop. So int x is equal to int dot parse console dot readline. We are going to take the input from the user. If x is equal to 0, if the user entered 0, then we need to break this loop. So break, else we need to display the message console dot write line. Okay, and then console dot read line. Now let me comment this all code. Comment. Now go back to IntelliJ IDE and comment all this code also. Control and then /. Now while true, x is equal to input input. If x is equal to 0, break, else print. Okay, now let's run it. If I enter 1, it keeps running and keeps asking to keep running. If I enter 0, this program need to exit. Now go back to Visual Studio and run your program. Like enter 1, keep asking 3. Oops, what's wrong here? Oh, I forget. We should not write this line over here. 1, keep asking. 2, keep asking. 3, keep asking. If I enter 0, exit. Now let's talk about for loop in C#. I'm going to comment this one. For int I is equal to 0, I is less than 50, I plus plus, and console dot write line I. and open up IntelliJ IDE. In Python we use for loop in different way. For I in range like 50, print I, right click, run. Oops, first of all let me comment this line of code. Right click, run. It prints 0 to 49. Go back to Visual Studio and then run. Outside this for loop I need to write console.readline. Run. It should display from 0 to 49. There you go. In C# we also use another loop, that is for each loop. The for each loop is used in array or collection. I will use for each loop after discussing about collection. I'm going to finish this video here. Comparing two languages can increase your understanding about language. That's why I create this video. If you like this video, share this video with your friends and give thumbs up, which really motivates us to create such video and stay connected with this channel. In order to stay connected with this channel, you need to subscribe this channel. So subscribe this channel, and if you like this video, don't forget to comment. And thank you once again for watching this video. Have a good day. Bye bye.